And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the business, the jobs podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like it just has a website, go there. My man, it does not mean that you need to walk over here. You're tired. We went on a mile and 0.75 walk. Go lay down. You're tired. You came in here, you slumped over. Got nothing going on. Welcome back in. Episode 72. I've already named the episode. You'll never guess what. Oh, you're listening to it, so you're probably right. That's stupid. All right, I have a lot to get to. Let's talk about. Last week I mentioned he is drinking the water the loudest. Last week I mentioned that I had a job interview for a position somewhere with some type of company doing some type of producer thing. I don't know if you can hear him drinking water, but he is laughing it up. I had the interview. I'll give you a little play-by-play. I show up. This is not a knock on the person. I show up on time. I show up 5 minutes ahead of time. I'm sitting there. I click in at 12:30. I think that's when it was. And I'm waiting. It gets to be 12:45, and I go, I guess I should I email this person? And then at 12:50, he finally logged on. That is, quite frankly, the longest I've ever had to wait for that. But it's been a long time since I had an interview. Also, I just had a coffee about an hour ago. So I am high as a kite on caffeine and meth. Anyway. I'm sorry, that wasn't funny. People do meth and ruins their lives or whatever. Anyway, so we have a very, very short interview. He apologizes, which thank you. and this is a style of interview I'm not particularly a fan of. Is where just tell me about yourself. And I don't know where you want me to start. And then asking a very specific question. No, I want you to talk about this. I'm like, I don't know. Again, not a knock on this person. Anyway, at the end, I've been pushed on to the quote unquote second round. The idea is that they are hiring for, it's a contract position. Can't escape that. They're hiring for May to July. And I've been pushed on in the second round, which is good news. They're hiring, and there's no bad news. They're hiring for May to July, and they're essentially trying to get whomever they hire, that person needs to literally hit the ground running because they have stuff that they need to take care of. And I completely understand. I'm out there. I'm like, I got this. You let me get in there. I'm gonna run. I'm going to go so fast. I'm a good learner. Also, when I messaged, remember, I messaged this person on LinkedIn because I saw them post something, and because the way LinkedIn works, the person that I'm connected with, and they're also connected with, liked that post, and I saw it on my feed. And I went, this is it. I'm going to do it. I want to, again, I do this all the time. I message somebody. This is one of the few times where somebody has responded. We do the interview. Oh, and they're going to, anyway, this guy asked, because I did not see a job posting, this is through LinkedIn. The guy asked, what's your rate? And I said a number that was so fucking high that you would have been like, it was ridiculous. But quite frankly, it is the number that at this point in my career, with the skills that I have, with the jobs that I've led, I should be at. So I said a number that was so goddamn high. And he goes, what? And he does the math. He goes, we're not going to do more of that. And I went, well, what's the rate? Because I literally just said a number, with the exception that kind of hit in my head. And then he said something that was about let's say 40% below that. You know what? It might be 50. And I went, great, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. Just like, come on. Oh my God. But I mean that number was so high. But if you knew the company that it was, that this was for, you would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. The second portion of the other interview will be tomorrow. Maybe I'll show up at 12:45. It is just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But it was a good interview all in all. He seemed like a very nice guy. It will be in office a couple of days a week, which I have no issues with because it's so close. I could even ride my bike there. It's not that close. It is close enough for me to ride my bike, but it will be it'll be a slog. It's as close. If CNN is bike distance, it is at downtown. If the downtown where RIP where that building is currently still, if that was bike distance, this is the same distance but a lot more dangerous in the same area. Yeah, so take that as you will. But I'm excited to now. I'm ready to talk to the person tomorrow, and it'll be a nice conversation. Please, God, let it be, because they are looking to hire, and I'm looking to work. I'm scrolling through LinkedIn right now. I'm very sorry, but I follow 2 Peloton instructors on LinkedIn, and they post constantly, and I'm looking at one right now, and she's great. Susie Chan is fantastic. She's one of my favorite Peloton instructors, although I hate, and I say this with love, I hate how she counts down to like adding on, speed or incline on the treadmill. Just do it. Just tell me. Just go. Hey, in 5 seconds, we're going to do this. Great. Don't count down. In 5, 4, no, just do it. That's less annoying than what a lot of other Peloton instructors do. Anyway, all right, let's get on to this next thing. This comes from AP, Associated Press, written by Paul Weissman and Anne D'Ingenesio. Okay. Hey, baby. Anne D'Ingenesio. As you can see, if you're watching the video, I'm doing the thing where I bring up the story. U.S. added 228,000 jobs in March as economy showed strength in buildup and Trump trade wars. Now, hold on, I'm trying to scale this now. You might see, I'm getting a phone call. That the jobs report, they added 228,000 jobs. That is technically a surge, but that is for March. And this is before the tariffs. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4.2%. Hiring numbers were up from 117,000 in February and were nearly double the 130,000 that economists had expected. Labor Department revisions shaved 48,000 jobs off January and February payrolls. Again, this is prior to the tariffs, which are probably going to affect job numbers when we get the April report in May. The people did earn a little bit more cashish from February. Pay rose by 0.3%, about what economists had expected. The year prior to that, in 2024, hourly pay was up 3.8%. Which is lower than the 4% that have been forecast and nearing the 3.5% year-over-year gains that are seen as consistent with the Federal Reserve's 2% annual inflation targets. It's a small rise for unemployment, but this is good, as the AP writes, as Weissman and D'Ingenesio write. 232,000 people entered the labor force, which means they were either working or looking for work, though not all of them found jobs right away. And as we'll see, finding jobs now is, we'll see later in this episode, finding jobs now is looking to be tough. Tough tits, as they say. The job market is steady, but it's not something to write home about. It cooled from the red hot hiring days of 2021 to 2023. Employers are only adding 117,000 jobs in February and 111,000 in January, which is not bad, but it's also not good because those numbers are down from the same points last year and almost down triple from the same points in 2022. The record was 603,000 in 2021 when all of the economy was coming back from the pandemic. All right, let's move on. This next one comes from The Wrap, written by Sean Birch. I will not open this on this website. I will. Fine, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't want people to see my secrets when it comes to, it's too late, how I get free website stuff. It's archive.ph. Just, if you don't want to pay, just listen to it. I mean, just go there. Anyway, CBS News to give employees larger severance if they're replaced by AI in new WGA deal. This is a huge thing when it comes to people who write for a living, who are just journalists. And I hope this is able to spread out among not just CBS News, but also to the New York Times, to to television writing jobs, to film writing things, writing jobs, gigs, whatever. Just writing jobs, anything that's covered under the Guild. We need these types of protections. I'm not in the Guild. At one point I will be. At some point I will be, excuse me. AI and its role in the newsroom had been a key sticking point in the WGA's negotiations with CBS on a new collective bargaining agreement. It's the same thing that happens with the New York Times. It's the same thing that's going to happen with Washington Post, anybody else who's under a guild. Now, I don't know if CBS is just under, CBS News is just under WGA, or if they're also considered a part of the New York Guild. Judging by this, I'm going to assume no. Maybe. Let's see. CBS News, New York Guild. No, it's just under the WGA. Okay. Here are the new AI safeguards. Now, this happened on Friday, April 4th. So here are the new safeguards for people working at CBS News against AI. These are safeguards against AI. Staffers who lose their jobs as a result of AI will receive a 50% increase on their severance package relative to what it would have been if they lost their job for another reason. CBS News. So that means if you are let's say they have 40 news writers, and then they want to cut that down in half. And I'm making up numbers. And they choose of the 40 news writers, they cut it down to half of 20. And the 20 that are laid off, their severance is, $10,000. I'm just making up numbers again. They would get $20,000 for their severance. CBS News will meet with the Guild semi-annually to discuss generative AI and how it is being used to create content. Websites, companies like USA Today, they're currently using AI to write at the top of their stories thumbnails. What are the little things called? Thumbnails, right? Bullet points about what the story is about. Similar to how Axios does it, but Axios, I don't believe, does it with AI. So if a story is about, the jobs report, then it'll just give, these are the jobs, this, and then like the important parts. The company will indemnify guild members who are assigned to use GAI in accordance with company policies. So that means anybody that has to use AI for a story on CBS News will be, paid more. at some point. I don't know, or they'll be compensated with more money. I don't know. I don't know how they'll indemnify guild member. If you're a part of the guild and for some reason you have to use AI in a CBS News story, then you will be rewarded because AI took a part of your job that you were unable to do. Let's see who left me a voicemail. I'm thinking that it is the vet. Okay. I tapped on the wrong app. All right, next up. CBS News, quote, committed to providing advance notice to the guild before it implements new AI features. So that means it's exactly what it sounds like. If they want to do what USA Today and Axios do and provide bullet points at the top of their news stories, then they'll start doing that. Well, AI generated. And again, I don't know if Axios are AI generated. This deal was overwhelmingly ratified, in quotes, by more than 270 CBS News staffers who are part of the bargaining unit. That also, the deal is also 3 years long, and people a part of that bargaining unit were writers, producers, editors, graphic artists who work in New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. So it is not just people who write news, it's also people who help make it, including the graphics artists, who I was unsure were a part of this. Okay. You know what? This is a job thing. I got an email from Audible where I produce audiobooks. And I was just, I auditioned for an audiobook maybe like 2 weeks ago, and they finally responded with unfortunately, you were not chosen to produce this project. Okay. Anyway, it's a good deal. It's a really good deal. But as we'll see in this next story, AI is really coming for everything. This coming from CNN. AI might be scanning your resume. Here's what job hunters should know. If you're looking at my tabs, I'm looking at an e-bike by Ride One Up. It just came out. I want to see what it's like. And yeah, there's a Meghan Markle story. It is for my freelance job. So yeah, I'm doing stuff. AI might be scanning your resume. Now, this is something that has been told to me as a job seeker for the past 11 years, is that there's robots scanning your resume and your cover letter when you apply for a position. It's probably always been true, which is fine, but now it is even more prescient because it is something that's happening constantly. According to data from job seeker resource site Resume Genius, 48% of hiring managers report using AI to screen resumes and applications, and the AI recruitment sector is expected to experience a compound annual growth rate of 6.1% between 2023 and 2030, according to the Society for Human Resources Management. The reason why, and it's mentioned later in the story, the reason why companies, 48% of these hiring managers are using AI to screen resumes and applications is because it is what they would describe as a redundant job that can be mundane, and if they don't have to put eyes on this, then they won't. However, this does affect job seekers and applicants because the right person might not have the exact wording that this AI robot? I don't want to say robot. That this AI scan is looking for. I could put producer and it could cover associate producing, creative producing, whatever producer, whatever. But if it doesn't have producer and news, then they're not going. Then, and I'm applying to CBS News. Then they don't understand. That's just like a small sampling of how dumb things are. It's taking a long time for this voicemail to be downloaded by visual voicemail. Come on, Samsung. What are we doing? What CNN suggests, what Matthew Kaufman over at CNN suggests, who wrote this piece, is that the practice of including keywords from a job posting in a resume isn't new, but new AI tools can understand the content of a resume, meaning that they can help spot candidates even if their resumes don't mention certain words, according to Madeline Lorano, who's the chief analyst of Aptitude Research and HR advisory firm. I mean, if that's true, then why don't these AI bots, out of the 100 people that apply for a job on LinkedIn, which is another thing we'll get to in a second, out of the hundreds of people that apply for a job posted within the first 20 minutes, why don't they choose the right people? Even if it's a fake job, why don't they just, move along the right people? Me, for instance. The systems provide hiring managers with a list of relevant candidates and rank them. Ugh, this is so gross. I stopped myself from cursing, but I cursed earlier in this episode. It's fucking gross. The idea that automated tools just toss away resumes is a misconception, Nathan Soto, a career expert at Resume Genius, told CNN. Soto added that, quote, most HR representatives or hiring managers say they still look at resumes. I don't know if that's true. I don't exactly know if that's true, because I can't, even with, pet insurance from Lemonade, who screwed me over, I will never forgive them. They send back canned messages all the time. Or when I had them, they sent backhand messages. Here's a little side note. I don't know if I mentioned this. The cat needs to have surgery, and she needs to have her leg amputated. And I was so and last week something happened with her, and now she's a little bit more lethargic. I took her to the vet yesterday, and we're trying to move the surgery up. But I was so mad that I sent just the angriest email to Lemonade, and it was very long, who responded, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes after I sent it. They're like, hey, Chad, we're going to look into this. I'm like, no, I wanted you to see how mad I was. I am. Oh, my goodness. All they had to do was pay for it. All they had to do. We wouldn't be in this mess. Just saying, it's your fault. The AI recruiting agents are coming. Recruiting firms are using technology to simplify the hiring process, which we already know. Last year, Workday acquired AI hiring tool developer HiredScore, and Indeed released a smart sourcing tool that can find candidates and draft outreach messages. Again, I don't know if that's ever happened. All I receive is spam messages, phone calls, and texts, mostly from fake jobs, from people who are not in America. It's very clearly some type of bot that they're using, because the wording is way off. LinkedIn took the idea one step further in October when it introduced an AI agent for handling mundane HR tasks, as I mentioned before, such as the screening applications. One thing with Indeed and even LinkedIn at this point is that I am so sick of answering the same questions over and over again. I'm so sick of writing so many different cover letters. I'm not even writing different cover letters anymore. And you may say, well, next one, people are paying attention to you. But when you're applying to virtually the same job, all I can do at this point is change the name of the company and write, a couple of specific things. But that's pretty much it. I'm not doing an overhaul because it's ridiculous at this point. The tool can also chat with applicants during off hours. Oh, Jesus. That is so dumb. I've never seen that. I believe that I've used the LinkedIn AI while I was doing an episode of the show. There are times when you can click on a job here that says like story producer from a company called Podding in New York City. Posted 5 hours ago, over 100 applicants. I can scroll down because I have premium right now for the next 2 weeks, And there's an AI thing, your AI powered job assistant, and it says, "Am I a good fit? Tailor my resume. How can I best position myself?" But if I click on "Am I a good fit?" it's going to pop up with some type of window here, and it's going to tell all the things like, "Oh, hey, your experience in video production and storytelling aligns with this job's core requirements, and it requires emphasis on multimedia sourcing and blah 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 blah." And while that might all be true and possible, over 100 people have already applied. That's probably even 1,000 people. They only go to 100 right here. And as I look through the job, do I see myself as a good fit for this? Do I really have what it takes? So it's going to take more than what an AI I don't want to say bot. What an artificial intelligence has to say about me. There's human eyes can still put you in a better position than what artificial intelligence can. There are so many people that I worked with at different jobs who probably aren't good on paper, just based on how they talk to human beings, but they're good at their jobs. Versus there are people who were also hired at positions and jobs who should not have been in them. I'm saying this for a lot of jobs. I'm saying this for mostly jobs at CNN. I'm saying this for jobs at Bounce TV. Yeah, I'm talking about people who used to supervise me. I love talking shit. And if we look on to the next story, this comes from Hugh Sun over at CNBC. I'm going to pull it up. Fake job seekers are flooding U.S. companies that are hiring for remote positions, tech CEO says. This is also not just limited to the tech sector. What we're seeing is a bunch of what they will refer to as like North Korean spies. And I don't necessarily, I think it's mostly because these are tech jobs. And I guess they can say that they are, and because most of the profiles are from North Korea, they might be North Korean spies. I'm not going to necessarily agree with that. However, in the same way that we are seeing fake jobs be posted by every company, by Warner Brothers, by Paramount, by I'm going to name other companies because I don't want to get in trouble. By Ben and Jerry's. Because we're seeing fake jobs posted by every single company. There are jobs that are on LinkedIn right now that were posted 4 months ago. There's jobs on there that were posted a year ago. I've seen houses on Zillow that have been up for less time. Although it is very interesting when you look around a neighborhood and you go, "Oh, I've always wanted to live in this. I want to live in this neighborhood. I want to live in this building." And you see a condo or a house or a townhouse that has been on Zillow for more than like 2 or 3 months. And you go, "What is wrong with this place?" You're looking at it, you go, "The pictures are, yeah, they're fine." And then you're just like, why is this place not sold? There's a place, it's a place that is near me that is a small 2-level condo building. And for as much rent as I pay at my apartment, for amenities and things like that, and quite frankly, that storage unit where I keep my treadmill, and for a giant for the biggest 1-bedroom, save for the ones that have terraces and all that stuff. I could go and buy the place that is nearby. Don't get too specific. However, there used to be a point where the condos in that building, that small 2-level building, would go on sale or would be sold for, $320, $285, like up like $320 was a lot for one. And I'm telling you, they're small. 2 bedrooms, but they're small. It's still like 600,000 to 800,000 square feet. 600 to 800 square feet, excuse me. 600 to 800 square feet. And did I say so? And there's one that has been on sale since November, and they're charging a little over 300,000. And I look at it and I go, and I think, last year I would have bought that. But now I'm thinking I would rather pay for something else because you don't get covered parking. It is gated, but you only get one space. You don't get covered parking and there's nothing else there. It's just the building and a gate. And yes, you get 2 bedrooms, but what's the point? All right, anyway. I'm back to this. Now, what we're seeing here is Hugh's son is I was just going to say his last name, but I just said his whole name. Hugh's son is following a company called Pendrop Security that pointed out that they found a bunch of scammers who are using deepfake software and generative AI tools in a bid to get hired by that tech company. This comes from VJ, and I'm not going to try this. VJB, who is a co-founder and CEO of Pendrop. So what they'll do is they'll make fake faces, they'll make fake jobs and all that stuff, and for resumes, and then they'll apply to these jobs. Companies have long fought off attacks from hackers hoping to exploit vulnerabilities in their software, employees, or vendors. Now, another threat has emerged. Job candidates who aren't who they say they are, wielding AI tools to fabricate photo IDs, generate employment histories, and provide answers during interviews. Oh, I said 2 of those things. The rise of AI-generated profiles means that by 2028 globally, 1 of 4 job candidates will be fake, according to research firm advisory Gartner. Research and for advisory firm. The risk to a company from bringing on a fake job seeker can vary depending on the person's intentions. It's the same thing for why anybody would want to be a fake person. They just want to get secrets and they want to ruin the company. We've seen a giant increase in all of this. They're calling Son is calling it massive increase. Ben Sesser, the CEO of Bright Hire, said he first heard of the issue a year ago and that the number of fraudulent job candidates has, quote, ramped up massively this year. His company helps more than 300 corporate clients in finance, tech, and healthcare assess prospective employees in video interviews. Fake job seekers will not stop, and every company is seeing some version of this. Again, Son is referring to a bunch of North Korean spies who are included in criminal groups located in Russia, China, Malaysia, and South Korea. This is according to Roger Grimes, a veteran computer security consultant. I'm a computer. I've been a bad computer. As if we didn't have anything else to worry about when it came to jobs. I mean, just even seeing a fake job is stressful and annoying. How can we stop? There has to be some sort of safeguard. In the same way that we saw the WGA force his hand on CBS News to protect the workers at CBS News. I didn't really force their hands. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put it that way. But we need to have the same thing done. There need to be regulations put in place so that companies can't take advantage of job seekers. And for the handful of job seekers that are taking advantage of companies, that can't happen. But quite frankly, I don't really care about job seekers taking advantage of companies. Because how many times have companies taken advantage of job seekers? How many times have you been pushed to the second or third interview and been ghosted? How many times have I been ghosted? I've been ghosted so many times. It's ridiculous. It's insane. How many times have I been interviewed at WABE and gotten so far in the process and gotten to the last thing, and that took weeks weeks. And it took so long. It took months for them to even answer my messages. And how long? And then it took weeks to go from one interview to another interview to another interview, and to do little tests for them. And then for you to get to not hear back for like 2 weeks, and then for them to just send you a little email and say, you didn't get it. And then for you to get a phone call from one of them and be like, hey, I see you. You did a great job. And for that to put hope in you. And then for that person a year later to leave WABE and go to, I don't know, a podcasting production company like Pineapple. And then for that person to say, hey, we're going to have some jobs open up. And then for them to never talk to you again. And for them to tell you, you should have applied. Where and when? Oh, that's a true story. There need to be safeguards, and that's what we need. Because right now, I'm on LinkedIn right now looking in the job section. There's jobs that have been posted for 3 days, 1 hour, 2 days, a week. If you're gonna do it. Hire somebody. Let's go, and then take this down. And do it quick. Don't waste time. Okay. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. If you want to see a video version of me talking to famous people, youtube.com/cpluscomedy is where you can find that. You can also watch a video version of this show on that same YouTube channel. You can also watch video versions of the other shows. Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and the Constitutionals podcast. You can also subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, at @CPlusComedy, me, at Chad Blackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.